Today, I'll be telling you why diets don't work if your goal is to lose weight and how companies that offer diet products profit from our insecurities. Hi everyone, welcome to The Humane Factor. I'm Namrata, a human rights lawyer and activist. Now, during the pandemic, our habits drastically changed. Our commute from the office became a commute to our desk. Our priorities shifted, and as a result, our bodies changed. And guess what? That's absolutely okay. I'll tell you what's not okay: commenting on people's bodies. I'm not even talking about fat shaming here, just commenting on anyone's physical appearance, period. That's not okay. First things first, nobody has ever looked the same their entire lives. There are tons of reasons people gain or lose weight, and many of these reasons are not linked to a person's willpower or determination to stick to a diet plan or eat healthy. Now, there are several companies that profit from our insecurities about our bodies that are fed into us by society. These companies offer diet products, detox teas, juice cleanses, fat burners, and other products that not only don't work but also cause harm to our bodies in the long run. Today, I'll be telling you why diets don't work if your goal is to lose weight and how companies that offer diet products profit from our insecurities. I'll also talk about what's being touted as the alternative to dieting, which is eating healthy or eating clean, and why that doesn't work for everyone either. And finally, I'll tell you what does work long term. A quick disclaimer: when I talk about diets in this video, I'm talking only about eating patterns that are touted as weight loss solutions. I'm not referring to diet plans that people follow because of health reasons or food restrictions. Now, many of us fall into the trap of dieting, and that's because we live in a society that praises women for being thin and men for being muscular. These traits are portrayed as desirable, a sign of confidence, health, and achievement. If we don't fit into this mold, we are made to feel unhealthy, lazy, and less than. The diet industry capitalizes on this societal standard by making us believe that we need to shrink our bodies to feel worthy. The worse you feel about yourself, the more likely you are to spend your money on diet after diet. Now, the reason it's such a profitable $2 billion industry is that diets don't work. When one diet inevitably fails, there are hundreds more into which you can sink your cash. So, why don't diets work? Now, recent studies suggest that when you follow a particular diet and restrict your calories, any weight loss that comes with it is short term. Now, of course, if you restrict your calories, you will lose weight initially. But what the diet industry doesn't tell you is that when you restrict your calories, your body starts breaking down its stores for energy. Now, this also includes our muscles. Now, if you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down, and this leads to weight gain and difficulty maintaining your weight. So when you diet, after the initial weight loss, you will need to eat a fewer calories than before just to maintain your reduced weight. Now, since your metabolism slows down, most people who diet eventually gain all that weight back and then some more. Now, one of the terrible consequences of dieting is that it affects your relationship with food. Have you ever been on a diet to lose weight and it works for a bit, but then you seem to fall off the wagon and eat anything or everything in sight because you are just too damn hungry? You then feel guilty and blame yourself for not having enough willpower. But that's not true at all. Now, this happens because of your body's physiological response to deprivation. Now, according to nutritionists, when you consistently don't eat enough, your body will crave energy because you are forcing it into a negative energy balance, which it doesn't like. So, it drives us to eat so that we have enough energy for our vital functions and to keep us healthy. That's why you get hungry and crave foods when you are in a caloric deficit. This constant deprivation can lead to out of control eating or eating way past comfortably full. Now, this leads to feelings of guilt and regret, and then the cycle continues. Now, several companies capitalize on exactly this and offer magic supplements and weight loss pills that promise to melt fat off your body. These supplements are bullshit and do not work at all. In a recent study, scientists examined supplements that fell into 4 categories. Products such as Chitosan that block absorption of fat or carbohydrates, stimulants such as caffeine or ephedra that increase metabolism, and products such as conjugated linoleic acid that claim to change the body composition by decreasing fat, and appetite suppressants such as soluble fibers. Now, they found that many products had no randomized clinical trials examining their effectiveness. Now, most of the products showed less than a 2-pound weight loss benefit compared to the placebo groups. And even this 2-pound weight loss was attributed to water weight. Okay, so now maybe you are convinced that supplements don't work. What about green tea and herbal teas? They're healthy, aren't they? Well, the science is in. Green tea does not help you lose weight. Multiple studies suggest that green tea's effect on weight loss is so minimal that it isn't even clinically relevant. Now, I'm not telling you not to drink green tea or herbal teas. Teas are delicious, and a few cups a day will warm your heart and soul. But if you are drinking green tea because you think it will help you lose weight, you should know that it won't. Now, experts also warn against taking large amounts of green tea supplements. Now, these large amounts are actually recommended doses on many supplement labels. Now, there have been reports of serious liver damage in people who've used these supplements. Now, as for detox teas, you should stay away from these completely. Detox teas are actually laxatives disguised as health drinks, and all they do is make you poop. Excessive use of laxatives can irritate your digestive system and prevent your body from absorbing nutrients from your food. Long term, they can affect the way your bowels work, making them lazy and leading to a reliance on these products just to go to the bathroom as normal. In fact, social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter have been asked to stop running ads where famous influencers are paid to market diet products. In 2018, Kim Kardashian came under fire for advertising a lollipop that's an appetite suppressant. Can you believe it? A lollipop. Do not fall into this trap. These products damage your health and you should stay far, far away from them. Okay, so maybe now you're convinced that restricting your calories or buying diet products isn't the solution. What about eating healthy or eating clean? That should work, right? Why can't we all just eat healthy and clean? Well, there are 2 huge problems with this way of thinking. First, eating healthy or eating clean is just another form of diet culture that has been repackaged because people are now getting smarter. Now, if you tell yourself that you are only going to eat clean and you're never going to eat something that you like say chocolate, again, it causes psychological deprivation. You may resist it at first, but then after a while, the craving gets so intense that you end up eating more than what you would have eaten if you'd allowed yourself to eat it in the first place. Now, by not allowing yourself to eat the foods you want, you are giving certain types of food a special and powerful status. Now, the second and huge problem with the idea of eating clean is that not many people can afford to eat clean all the time. They may not have the money, resources, or time to eat clean always. Now, for instance, when I was at university in India, I lived on campus and I didn't have a kitchen to cook my own food. So I had to depend on my university cafeteria and I could only eat what was served. Then when I was working at a law firm, I was clocking in about 16-hour work days and I also had to work on Saturdays. Again, there was no way to eat clean and there were a lot of takeout dinners that my law firm paid for when we stayed late at work. Then when I went to law school in the Netherlands, I lived in a student dorm on a shoestring budget. I did have a kitchen which I shared with 10 other students, but the kitchen had the barest minimum equipment. It was pretty much just a stovetop with a few pots and pans. Again, eating clean all the time was just not possible. It wasn't until I graduated and started working in the Netherlands that I was able to prepare my own meals. Now, another thing to remember is that in many socialist European countries, there's a good work-life balance which gives you enough time to focus on self-care. Sadly, this work-life balance doesn't exist everywhere. Now, I understand that health should be a priority, and I'm not advocating for people to just let go and be unhealthy. What I am telling you is that eating healthy or eating clean to lose weight is a form of diet culture that causes psychological deprivation, and also it isn't accessible to everyone. One's diet depends on so many factors such as how much money they have, how much time they have, their access to resources, stress levels, mental health, among others. Now, when people don't have access to resources to eat clean and they are pressurized by society to look a certain way, they fall into unhealthy, restrictive habits. That's why eating clean is not a practical solution for everyone. So what is the solution then? If dieting doesn't work and eating clean isn't going to work for everyone, then what works? The answer is simple. We need to focus on doing what's best for our bodies given our circumstances. We eat what we can, what feels good for both our bodies and mind, and allow our bodies to settle at whatever weight it feels comfortable at given our genetics, hormones, stress levels, sleep, activity, and age. We disassociate being thin from being healthy. Today, many nutritionists believe in the HAES approach, which stands for Health at Every Size. The philosophy of this approach is that it's better, both physically and emotionally, to be as healthy as you can at whatever weight you are. We should also start valuing what our bodies can do for us instead of how it looks. That's called body neutrality. Both the HAES approach and body neutrality together focus on your overall physical and emotional well-being rather than your appearance. Slamming diet culture is so important because we're all tired of being pawns in the game played by companies that make money off our insecurities. So share this video with people you think need to see it. And wait, before you go, please hit the subscribe button for interesting videos every Wednesday and Saturday. It only takes a second, so just click on that button. See you soon.